Yo, what it do? Hey, we know you just saw that fresh new intro. Wasn't that shit sick? Well, we couldn't agree more, guys.
Right, we just collaborated with our boy Omar at Sun City Vibes to help create an intro that would take our podcast to the next level. Do you need help with your video editing and content creation to help elevate your business to the next level? Well, Sun City Vibes has you covered without a doubt.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Whether it's a logo reveal, a music video, drone footage, or even t-shirt printing, guys, hit up Sun City Vibes for quality work and affordable price. Shit, Omar even made us a sick-ass hat. Look at this.
It's a fresh-ass hat.
Fresh.
Shit's fresh.
Fresh.
So yeah, guys, go help support those that support us and hit up our boy Omar and tell him Chris and Misa sent you from the podcast and help support a local El Paso business today. Let's go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. As always, guys, co-host of the podcast, Mr. Misael is with us today.
Yo, what it do?
In the producer chair, my sister Amanda is joining us today. So what's up to the podcast?
Hey, what's up, everyone? How's everyone doing today?
Yeah, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too.
Our regular producer, Joe, is actually at the Alamo right now.
Yeah, dude, he came in saying that they were looking for volunteers, and then he left with a flag of like his hands, like his fist, and it says like, "Come take it." You know, like what?
So he's stuck in San Antonio right now. But shout out to Joe for episode 134, guys. Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. We have a very, very special guest. His name is Rick Cabrera. He's in the studio with us. Say what's up to the podcast, Rick.
Thank you. It's a lot of applause when there's just 4 people in there.
Man,
Dude, it gets loud in here, dude. It gets really loud in here. Rick, thank you for being here today. We really do appreciate it, man. I slid in his DMs. Like that's
like you know,
that's just how I did it.
You're a DM whore.
Yeah, I found him on Instagram. You know, I shot my shot, and thank you for being here today. We really do appreciate it. Guys, if you guys are listening, make sure to follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got a good podcast for today, guys. We got Blue in the live audience. We got our boy Chewy from Next Gen Sports. So, Mr. Rick, for the people who do not know who you are, can you introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, my name is Rick Cabrera. I was a longtime newscaster and sportscaster in El Paso. I spent almost 20 years on TV in El Paso at KVIA, ABC 7. Spent about 9 years as a sportscaster and about 11 years as a newscaster. Left in about 4 summers ago. COVID throws off my math, but I'm going to say that's 2018.
Right.
And I now work at Hub International, and I sell insurance of all things. So quite a dramatic change from doing TV. That's my degrees, and I was a broadcast journalism major at the University of Texas. Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns. Shout out our boy Ivan Melendez.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, that's great news. I'm a big Dodger fan. I was hoping the Dodgers would take him, but they don't need a first baseman. But he's going to play quickly with the Diamondbacks.
Right.
He's legit.
Yeah, he ended up in a good spot for sure.
Absolutely. But anyway, so I just wanted something different. I wanted to shake things up, and so I decided sales was the place for me. And then had about a 6-month courtship with Hub International to do employee benefits. I'm a group insurance. I'm going to bore you guys to death, but basically for companies that want to provide health, dental, life, disability, vision, all those kind of policies, I'm a broker with all the different carriers. So whether that's Aetna, MetLife, Cigna, United Healthcare, you name it, I work with all the carriers to bring you what you need as a company. So
Damn, he's right. I am bored as fuck.
yeah,
I'm the only one not bored because insurance is my background.
Okay.
I was a life underwriting consultant for a while. So
absolutely.
actually getting back
why don't you guys take off, man? We're just going to talk.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're
I was like, should we just go
Just back out. Yeah.
come back for the sports segment.
You guys,
listen, it's not as sexy as doing some TV, and not that
Right.
TV is all that sexy either, but it definitely, people ask a lot more about my TV days than they do about what's it like selling insurance.
Right. I mean, one thing that's cool is like Hub International. You guys, your office is actually in the West Star Bank Tower, that brand new building that they built in downtown El Paso, and that's like state of the art. Like it's a very nice building.
It's absolutely very nice.
So yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into your news career. We'll talk a little bit about some sports. We'll do some trending topics in the second half. But before we really get into this, guys, there's a tradition on this podcast. It's called the cracking of the celebratory beer.
My part of this too?
And it sounds, yes, of course. And it sounds like this. So shout out to everybody, guys. Thank you for being here and supporting us. And Mr. Rick, shout out to you. I'm going to indulge really fast. So real fast, Mr. Rick, we were talking off air. I asked if you were a native El Paso, and I didn't know if you had grown up here. But where are you actually from?
It's kind of a long story, but I was born in Del Rio, Texas, raised in Northern California in San Jose. I moved to Round Rock in 8th grade, Round Rock north of Austin. Went to UT, first TV job in Phoenix, and then now in El Paso. So did I answer your question?
Wow, I think the interview's over now, guys.
I will tell you this. It's funny to me because in my mind as a kid, because we lived in Northern California, my dad lived in South Texas in Kingsville, and we were always, I felt like a Texan. I grew up a Texan. I was in Northern California, but to me, I always tell people El Paso was a La Quinta halfway back home. Yeah. You know, it always felt like the halfway point, and my dad always had us in a La Quinta, and so he would drive us back and forth every Christmas, every summer. So hop in the car in San Jose and drive all the way to South Texas, and that's how I knew El Paso. I didn't really have a history here, but it's been great.
It's like an oasis in the middle.
Like how far of a drive is that all the way from Del Rio up to San Jose?
So Del Rio to Kingsville is usually where we went. I was born in Del Rio, but my dad was in Kingsville. I would say it's about 12 hours on this side and 18 on
That's like a week.
No, trust me. My dad had one of those custom minivans or custom vans. And I would just look out that side little diamond, you know, those diamonds in the back corner. And I would just read those mile markers and go, what the hell, man?
Damn.
It was painful. But, you know, we're Mexican
Dude, no
Americans.
tablets back then?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, dude,
iPhone,
I would beg for a comic at a Circle K. I'd be like, please, Dad, let me buy a comic. I'll read it 7 times. I promise.
That is crazy, man. Yeah, and like El Paso's like, you've kind of embraced it. It's kind of like your home now, right? And like, what do you like about it more than when you were living maybe like in Austin or like somewhere in like Northern California?
I just like the quality of life, the pace. You know, I lived in Phoenix before coming out here, and I covered the NBA and NHL and all those teams in Phoenix. And man, you're around all those pro athletes, and you start feeling this need to like keep up with the Joneses and you know all that stuff. And here I get to keep up with Aaron Jones instead. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different pace of life. I don't feel this overwhelming need to have certain, you know, have the nicest car, the nicest house. People just want you to be nice and be friendly. They've always been welcoming and embracing of me. I now have 2 kids that were born and raised here. The weather's fantastic most days. It's been hot as you know what lately. But it's just been nice. Everyone's been friendly to me. They've taken good care of me. I think it's a great place to raise a family, and I have no regrets.
And so when you were going to UT and you graduated, what, 94 you said?
94, yeah.
Okay. When you were at UT right away, you were already like practicing or like studying to be in journalism?
Yeah, so I it's funny. So at UT, it's the College of Communication, but to get into the broadcast journalism sequence, you have to do an audition. And there was about 10 dudes that all tried out and said, oh, yeah, we want to do news. We want to do news. We want to get into broadcast journalism news. And then when we all lied and got in, they were like, we all want to be sportscasters.
That's what everybody wants to do.
But we knew we couldn't say that.
Right.
But so I auditioned and I made it. And mostly on my grades, I was a nervous wreck. I can't tell you how nerve-wracking that process was, but I will tell you, Steve Kaplowitz from KRD, we were classmates together. So we did that together. So we went through the sequence together and then did that for 2 years and I graduated, but I never thought I'd be in front of the camera.
Right.
You know, I thought I would just be a producer or something behind the scenes.
So when you say you auditioned, like, did you have to like send in a tape or like, how was that?
I had to come down to the College of Communication. They gave me a news story. I had to write a script and then I had to perform it. And then, you know, but I had no background. So it was all just kind of doing it naturally.
So you just did it on the fly?
Yeah.
It was like, I'm just good at this.
Yeah,
chugged up on 90 for went in there.
Honestly, like I tell you, I had really good grades at the time at UT. I think that's what got me in there, to be honest with you. It was not that audition.
So like we had,
they're like, well, he's got good grades.
We had Steve Kaplowitz on this podcast too. We talked to him a little bit about his time in Austin. So you guys already knew each other, or was it kind of just like, you know, he's over there doing his thing, I'm over here doing my thing?
We didn't know each other until we got into the sequence together, and then we were doing stuff together because you do group projects. You spend all week putting together a newscast. That's the kind of stuff you do when you're in the broadcast journalism sequence. But for me, I just, you know, it's one of those things where I just love sports. I was a passionate sports fan growing up. I mean, huge sports fan. I tell people I remember being like, you know, 6, 7 years old and running on my chonies to get the San Jose Mercury News, and I would just embrace that newspaper and read every single line of that sports page. And so as I was in college, I was an advertising major, and I was like, I don't want to go work in New York or Dallas. I want to stay around here And honestly, if I want to do that, my passion is sports. I love Sports Illustrated, Sporting News, ESPN, all that stuff. So I said, can I make a career out of this? And that's what led me to the broadcast journalism sequence. But even then, I still thought I'd always be behind the scenes.
Right. And so why were you so into sports? Was it like your dad, or was it like just the people that are around you that really influenced you that way?
I think I just enjoyed watching like underdog stories.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I think as a kid, you watch a sporting event, you don't really know the teams. But if they start, oh my God, this underdog is doing some incredible things. They never beat so and so, and then you start to root for them, and you feel that passion. Exactly.
Well, they build the storylines. That's what they're very good at. Is
absolutely.
Like that's part of like sports being on TV. You guys have these companies. They build the storylines, the media, so that way they like when they sell it to the public. Like people can relate, like, oh, I've been through that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It was so much fun. I mean, just watching sports. And then, you know, I was that geek that could tell you, oh, Pedro Guerrero was leading the National League in hitting with a 342 average. He went 2 for 3 yesterday. I mean, those days are
Just
long
off,
gone.
yeah, off the top of your head. Just
Trust me, those days are long gone.
All from
Few
a
too many
newspaper.
kilt lifters.
Oh, from a newspaper.
Yeah,
7 years old.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
I still can't even read. I'm 31.
It was just numbers. That's okay.
Yeah, I think now we take it like for granted how easy we have
Yep.
like access to like all those stats that you said. Like you literally had to go out and like seek out this information. And we talked about this with Teicher, like how the landscape of like sports radio or like calling games has changed so much with like technology and just with the times. So it's crazy to see it evolve. Who was like your favorite like sports team? Like was it the Cowboys?
I was always a Cowboy fan. I had that Doomsday
Yes, sir.
poster
Yes, sir.
over my bed, which is the ones with the Doomsday defense, which is Harvey Martin, Randy White, and Bob Bruning and Too Tall Jones, and they're over the tombstones of the NFC East. And that thing, I had that over I looked it up recently. It's a cool little poster, but I had that over my bed, and I was always a huge Cowboys fan. But I'll tell you a weird story. Growing up in Northern California, the 49ers were really good at that time. In particular, that was the Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Freddie Solomon, all those guys. And so because it was on the radio all the time and I heard it and I was always around me, I actually rooted for both teams for many, many years. And I also rooted for the Raiders because back then they had the Plunkett and Cliff Branch. And so when I played pickup football, I was always one of those guys.
Yeah, you're breaking all the rules.
Yeah, no, I was all over the map, right? And
Just
then
following players.
yeah, what's that?
Were you just like into the players?
Yeah, and then we'd hear them, and then the radio stations would create rap songs or music videos, and so just was everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, and then Joe Montana's not hard to like or dislike,
Right.
And things like that. So anyway, so I was at a Boy Scout event, and they were all rooting for the 49ers against the Cowboys in the year of the catch, the Dwight Clark catch,
Yep.
and so I chose my allegiance would be with the Cowboys to be against everyone else at that.
That's the day you planted his fucking flag in the ground, like,
and
hey,
they lost.
Yeah, that's what's ironic about it. It's like, goddamn, that's funny. That's dope. That's a good story.
Hey, that's the game that like pushed Tom Brady to be like Tom Brady. You hear about that story? He was there at that game with his dad.
Was he really? Yeah, he's a Northern California kid. I think.
That makes sense then. So he saw that and he was
saw
like,
that and he's all like, I'm gonna be a quarterback.
he's like, I'm gonna dominate the NFL for 20 years, retire, then unretire, then do it again. He put his flag down. He's like, and then I'm gonna meet this guy Belichick and Gronk, and we're gonna run it.
It's done. It's been done. I was gonna say, as far as baseball, huge Dodger fan, and again, I grew up around the A's and the Giants, and I would watch their games on TV. Probably like the A's more than the Giants, but then my dad took me to remember these trips back and forth. He had a buddy who from Kingsville, now in LA, who had season tickets to the Dodgers. So we went to a Dodgers game. I saw Fernando Valenzuela pitch, and my dad bought me one of his jerseys, and I was done. That was it. That was the day. And the worst part of that story is my dad asks to this day, "Why are you a Dodgers fan?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, man?
Bought me the jersey.
Yeah, like it was like an epic moment in my life, and you don't even remember it, man."
Why?
It's because he had a few too many beers, man.
Apparently
It's such
so.
a dad moment.
Yeah, for sure. Like your mom would always remember that. Mom would
Absolutely.
always remember that, but dad's like, fuck.
I was there.
I've never been to a Dodgers game.
Yeah, that's cool. Were you into like college basketball too? Was that like something you were into?
More in high school, because
Okay.
I played high school basketball until my senior year. I chose girls and partying over. Plus, I was a bench warmer. Let's be clear about that.
It's like that was the main reason.
That's the reason I tell people, but it was because I was a bench warmer.
Somebody had to do it, you know.
Yeah, I played ass back. You know what that
Ass
is?
back.
That's his favorite position, dude.
You go in the court, coach is like,
Get your ass back.
Nisa knows that way too well. Yeah. He made all state, all team ass back.
Nice. Congratulations.
all 4 years in a row.
So you were riding the bench a lot. Was that just because you weren't the tallest kid, you weren't Steph Curry out there or what?
No, I was slow and not very tall.
Who would your NBA comp be?
Muggsy Bogues. I don't know. He could dunk, right? That guy could dunk. I'm aging myself saying Muggsy Bogues. You know what I was a huge fan of though growing up when we talk about college is college baseball and college football.
Okay,
but
cool.
I always gravitated to the Longhorns. But I remember being a kid. That's why I've enjoyed following the Hispanic Titanic so much. Ivan Melendez, and he's been so great for El Paso. I mean, he just always promotes El Paso, and he's been a real mentor, or not necessarily a mentor, but he's going to be someone we hear about 20 years from now saying, oh yeah, it's because of him, or maybe not 20 years, but at some point they're going to be like, oh yeah, he told me, he made me believe I could do it. Right.
He's paving the road for
Absolutely.
the kid. Yeah,
absolutely. And he's a good kid. Everyone says you guys probably.
He's such a down to earth kid, man.
Yeah, we had him. So he was like, so we had planned to do like a podcast with him, but we were going to do it through Zoom when he was back in Austin. Mm-hmm. And then last year for Thanksgiving, he came down. And it kind of just worked out last minute, and so we actually had him here in studio. But he was like a really it's like the thing I liked about him was like you could tell he works hard, and so like anything that like any obstacle you face that he's gonna face, like if he works just like hard enough, he's gonna be able to overcome it. So like his mindset was amazing, and then he was just really down to earth.
That was really
and
cool.
he talked to us for like about an hour and like 30 minutes, and that's like the longest form interview that like I've seen of him on YouTube. Yeah. So like it's cool because people want to know more about him,
And he made $2 million on a minimum. $2 million.
Just like
that's
that.
his price because it's slotted. So minimum he's going to get $2 million. So his life has changed. But you're right. It's all about that effort and putting the time and energy, right? And he's definitely done that. I mean, so excuse me. So when he was coming back for a senior year, well, I'm sorry, this past year, it wasn't a senior year, but he went in, I think, the 16th round last year.
To the Marlins.
Yeah, and then it was like, listen, you didn't play any first base last year. You only hit home runs.
Right.
What can you do? And so he put his mind to it, and
he bet on himself.
He flashed some great leather at first base. I mean, very impressive. I thought, oh no, now he's actually going to play in the field because why were they hiding him last year? Yeah. Turns out the guy that was ahead of him in line was a really good defensive first baseman. But so gave him the chance to play first base. Defensively, he was fantastic, and then. He became a not just a power hitter, but he hits for average.
Right. Yeah, and I think like he broke onto the scene that College World Series, not this past year, the year before, and that's like when I first heard of him. But it's crazy because like his dad was like your softball coach, right?
At Franklin. So he was probably maybe 2-3 years old, and our cousins were like across the street neighbors. So kind of knowing them from a distance, but I know they come from a great family of educators. So the fact that he took that gamble, got his education, and it's definitely paid off. I was in Miami last year. So I'm like, man, the Marlins don't deserve this kid. So the fact that he took that gamble on himself, and it's definitely paid off. He's going to do great things.
Dude, and it's just awesome, and coming out to Vicente Fernandez, dude.
Yeah. It's cool, dude. It's unique. And so, like, another thing, too, is, like, when you were in UT, like, when you were in college, I think we looked it up in 1994. I don't know if you remember this, but the Longhorns, they played at the Sun Bowl that year.
Yeah, they played against South Carolina?
It was North Carolina, I think. But it was Mac Brown. Yeah, that was the coach back then. It was his old school because he's back in North Carolina now.
It was a close game.
If my memory serves me correctly, yeah. I don't have that great a memory of that game. I don't know if I traveled to the bowl games at that point. At that point, I probably would have been already in Phoenix. Probably my first TV job was as a sports producer in Phoenix, Arizona. So by then, I was probably checked out of some of that.
Because he was out like.
So what was the transition like once you wrapped up school in Austin? Like, what were the prospective like markets that you were like trying to get into, or were you just like, hey, I'll take anything?
All
like,
right, so
you know what I mean? I'll go anywhere.
Don't let me forget. I actually grew up a Warriors fan too, by the way.
Oh, nice! Hell yeah!
In Northern, but so this is gonna blow your mind. So I had no intention of doing anything after college. I didn't think I was talented enough. I didn't think I was going to work in front of the camera. I had a degree, but I had worked so hard in high school to get scholarships, and then in college to hold a 4.0 and graduate magna cum laude, that I just wanted to disengage. And I literally had a girlfriend in Philadelphia who later became my wife, now my ex-wife, best type of wife there is.
Wait, what? Hold on. I just got married like a year ago.
No,
and you're barely telling me this now.
Of all the wives, ex-wives are the best to have.
Hey, I'm a wife.
Hey, babe, I didn't say it. He did, all right?
We both don't have our fucking rings on again. God damn, this always happens to us. We're fucked.
So I literally it's I don't want to take up too much. The story's kind of long, but anyway, so my intention was literally my then girlfriend had 6 months left till she graduated from Temple University in Philadelphia. So my plan was, I knew a bunch of guys that lived in Philadelphia. I was going to go be part of one of their 5 roommates,
right?
In this
frat,
and just kind of live there. And I told people I want to work at Wawa, which is like Circle
Wawa,
K over there. Yeah, I want to work at Wawa, and I want to have no responsibilities. I just want to disengage for 6 months.
So you just
wait till she
graduates.
Just
wanted to vibe, pretty much.
Nothing else. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You need a break after a 4.0.
No, trust me. I didn't want to think about it.
Right.
And so I go to where I do my internship. I did an internship at KXAN, which is the NBC station in Austin, and I'm saying my goodbyes. I'm literally, and this is 94. There's no cell phone. Right. There's no forwarding addresses. There's none of that stuff, right? So as I'm about to walk out, this guy's name is Derek Castillo, and the guy that just left was the weekend guy. His name was Vic Lombardi, and Vic had just been hired in Phoenix to be the weekend sportscaster at the CBS station in Phoenix. And so I'm saying my goodbyes. I'm like, hey, Derek, thank you for everything, man. You've been fantastic. I appreciate it, man. And best of luck and blah, blah, blah.
If you're ever in Philly, hit me up.
Yeah, exactly. So
and Wawa, here we come.
Yeah, and then the phone rings. He goes, hey, hold on a sec. Let me get this. And the answer is, yeah, Vic, what's going on, man? No, senior interns? Well, Rick Cabrera's right here. You want to talk to him? I'm like, yeah, okay. And he puts me on the phone, and Vic goes, hey, you want to come be my weekend sports producer in Phoenix? And I go, nah, man, I'm not interested. Thanks. And so so the funny thing is my then girlfriend had already flown into Austin to help me drive my Volkswagen.
Oh shit! So you were already committed. Yeah.
Moving, I'm Wawa. Here we come, right?
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Here we come.
And you can't make the girl piss because then
Pat's
fuck.
and Geno's. Here we come, right? so I tell him, and he's like, "Are you really saying no, dude?" And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you don't have a job? I'm like, no, I'm moving to Philadelphia tomorrow. Like in the next couple of days, I'm driving to Philly. And he's like, write down my phone number and think about it, man. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I write it down. And that night I tell my girlfriend, she's like, you want to go? You want to take that job? And I go, no, I really don't.
Lie to me.
Yeah. And so it became a big old fight. And then I
knew
call my dad, and my dad just starts laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? I don't know what to do with my life. And he's like, because you got to take that job, son.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't. And then I go back. She fights with me some more. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take that damn.
I'm gonna call him in the morning.
Just a spider.
I booked my girlfriend back to Philadelphia. Put her on her flight. Instead of going to Philly, I went to Phoenix. Yeah.
The other city with the P.
Yeah. It was fact.
Yeah, that is crazy, dude. And like, you know what's funny is that like
right before leaving, saying your goodbyes, and hey,
yeah. But if I leave 5 minutes sooner, Derek has no one. Like I don't exist to him anymore.
So that's what I was gonna say. Do you like looking back on it now? Do you feel like it was all kind of like meant to be in some sort of weird way?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was such a blessing because when I got to Phoenix, I got thrown into it, and so I've always no one's ever questioned my work ethic. I'll put my time in. And when I got there, Vic said, Rick, you're not ready, man, to be a producer. You're like, he realized right away, man, you had not done crap at your internship. Like, you got a long way to go. He said, well, I'm going to hide you. I'll do all my own producing. I'll do my editing. I'll do all my highlights. Just get good at the foundation. and then just shadow and stick around. And so they limited me to 30 hours a week, and I was there probably 60 hours a week. Because, I'm in Phoenix now, and I don't know anybody, so I just was always at the TV station. And I was learning to edit, did nonlinear editing. I was going out on interviews. My very first week, I got to interview Charles Barkley. I was like, yeah. So I'm loving it, man. And so and then they gave me a press pass to go to the Suns game. So it's my day off. What else am I going to do? I'm going to go to the Suns game because I'll log the game from my team back at the office, highlights and stuff. Right. And they feed us before the game and a really nice, nice dinner. So I'm weeks out of college. Right. Hell yeah, I'm going to go sit ringside or courtside and watch the Suns play. Yeah. And they were good back then. That was a Charles Barkley, Dan Marley teams with Kevin Johnson, Wayman Tisdale, all those guys, Danny Manning eventually. And so I was in hog heaven, and then we're covering the Cardinals. We were the home of the Arizona Cardinals, so we did all their games. We had access to all the players. And so I just, yes. Everything was yes. You need me here, yes. And so I could only put down 30 hours, but I was putting probably 60 hours a week.
And to say he could have been in Philadelphia.
At Wawa.
He would have been. Wait, okay, hold on. So Wawa's is like Circle K?
Wawa, yeah.
He would have been.
But it's badass.
Okay.
Like Wawa's
no,
cool.
It's
but
not like
it's got
Bucky's
street cred.
badass.
No. But I mean, like, he would be like, they're selling, like, checking IDs for people buying beer and shit.
No, I'd be like, do you want some more mustard for that hot dog? Here, let me rip that open for you.
Yeah, he's either doing that or he's like watching fucking Charles Barkley with the press pass, like getting
hot dog carousel's empty. Hot dog carousel, fill it up. Okay, I'm on that.
Oh man, that's crazy, dude.
Good thing he listened to his dad.
Yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to catch a vibe, Dad.
I just wanted to vibe out for a while. But yeah, that's crazy. So like, okay, so this is 94 when you get to Phoenix, right? And then you spend how long there?
So I'm there for 4.5 years. Within 6 months, they make me full time. And then they make me the executive sports producer for the entire sports department. So I'm running it. It's only a 5-person sports staff, and I still answer to Vic. Vic is, the boss. He tells me what to do. I'm still his old intern. So I'm like the gopher, but I have some authority, and I get paid pretty well. And then Lou Romano comes to visit and apply for our weekend sports job in Phoenix. And when he's there, he doesn't get the job. But he, on his way out, he's like, hey, so you're going to always be behind the scenes? I said, yeah, I think I am. And he's like, well, why don't you get in front of the camera and give it a shot? And then I had done some on camera stuff, and I was starting to feel like, okay, I'm now 25 years old. I know first jobs in TV, you got to take a serious pay cut. You're making like 15, 18,000 a year. And at this point, I'm recently married. No mortgage, no kids. If I'm going to scratch that itch, I better do it now. Right. Yeah. So I tell Lou, I'll put a tape together, and if you ever have an opening, let me know. So Carolyn Hughes, about 4 months later, Carolyn Hughes leaves for the morning show. She'd been the weekend sports guy, and he calls me up, and he calls me up, and he's like, hey, you still interested? Yeah. And he's like, get me a resume tape, and we'll get you an interview set up. And within about 6 weeks, I was moving to El Paso as the weekend sportscaster.
Damn, it's quick.
Yeah,
it was fast, huh?
Yeah, it really did. At that point, I'd been married like 3 months, and I just figured let's take the leap now. And I thought it was a stop on the way to Austin, to be honest with you. Right. Lou's telling me, get good and get out. Don't grow old here, Rick. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to answer to that, but I will tell you, he also used to tell me, if I'm a sportscaster here past the age of 40, put a bullet in my head. And I think he just retired, right? And he was like in his 50s or something. So I don't know. It's not my call. But anyway, and you didn't hear that from me.
So did you have any doubts when you were like coming over here? Were you kind of like thinking like, oh shit, what if I made the wrong move?
Or did you ever think, fuck, I'm never getting that?
So I thought I had this thing all figured out. So I told myself, until I sign that contract with Channel 7, I'm not going to tell KPHO, the CBS, that I'm leaving.
Right.
I don't want them to fire me or something go wrong, and then I got to come back and say, I'm sorry, I didn't get the job. So it was not until I signed that, and I faxed it into the station. You guys know what a fax is?
That's the shit with the dial tone, right?
Yeah, not dial-up internet.
Now it just means I'm going to the restroom. I'm going to go send a fax.
Gonna go send a fax, yeah.
Straight fax.
So I signed it, and I go do it, and then I go into the news director, and I said, hey, listen, thank you for everything. This has been a great opportunity for me, but I'm going to go ahead. I want to get in front of the camera, and I'm going to go off to El Paso. And he goes, why didn't you tell me? I can put you on camera here. You can be a reporter here. And I'm like, get my fax back!
He's on a capsule.
I'm like cutting the phone line.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Yeah, fuck. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I reached out to Vic, my mentor. He now wasn't in Phoenix. And John Anderson, who is now at ESPN, he was our weekend sports guy.
I remember John Anderson.
Yeah, he's still around. Crazy. Yeah, he's still at ESPN. But he did Wipeout. That's how most people know him. But anyway, so they both say, Rick, it's cool that they want to hire you in Phoenix, but you need repetition, man. You're so green. You need repetition. And I believe that now. To this day, I tell people, I mean, I think I could be a brain surgeon and give me repetition. I don't know who wants to give me repetition, but I feel like anything in life is just the more you do it, you're going to get better at it, right? That's why I drink a lot of beer. I've gotten really good at it.
Poundability.
I'm thinking like, where could you get reps at brain surgery? Like, where do you go for that? Where they're like, try it out, see what happens. It's okay if you fuck it up.
You'll get it right eventually.
Guy's already a vegetable. You're good. Don't worry about it. So anyway, so they convinced me I'm still doing the right thing. So I come to El Paso. Vic leaves about 6 months later and they make me sports director. But I'll tell you, my very first sportscast, they gave me 3.5 minutes for sports. I did it in 2 minutes because I was just right. And then I remember getting off the set and I took off my coat and it was just sweating. I was a disaster. And to this day, I remember numerous times going home after a sportscast and telling my my now ex-wife, they're gonna fire me. I'm really bad. I'm not very good. I've got serious issues.
I only got 2 minutes in me.
Yeah. She's like, you're getting better. So absolutely. I thought I was in deep trouble. I thought I didn't have a future in front of the camera. But again, repetition. I always said yes. I always, and that's even, so now a lot of the things I do is I MC a lot of events still to this day. And I do a lot of public speaking, but that's because I was such a chicken shit that I wanted to say no, but I always said yes. That was what I told them. That was my mantra. The more nervous it makes you, the more scared you are, you got to say yes. Yeah. So it would start with simple things like just going to like a Read Across America or a little like kindergarten career day or whatever. And I just kept saying yes and yes and yes. And I would be driving there. I'm like, why did you say yes?
You're like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah, like,
fuck them kids.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, you know what? Try not to screw things up, man.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. But no, it is true, especially like.
Did you ever think of Wawa during those times?
Only because I've been back there recently, and I was like, let me get one of them hot dogs.
He's like, damn, what could have been? Fucking Wawa. But I think like what you said. I
could have been assistant manager.
Right. He could have been.
This should have been my Wawa.
He would have been in charge of inventory.
I'm looking at the guy behind the counter. Don't look at me that way.
I'm missing 3 hot dogs, guys. I'm missing 3 hot dogs.
But yeah, I think like you said, there is something to be said about putting yourself in like those uncomfortable situations, because I feel like that's how you grow as a person. And yeah, it's easy to say like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Fuck that. I'm not like, why would I do that? But no, you challenge yourself, and then you can see like, hey, I really am capable of doing, this or that, or being in front of this many people, and being able to fucking actually get up there and speak for yourself and not just be like a nervous wreck. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things too is a buddy of mine that I graduated from UT with. He ended up becoming a headhunter for for a broadcasting company or to go find broadcasters. And he was like, dude, I show your tape and you're just too fast and you're high pitched. And so I guess subconsciously I started working on my pitch and my pace. Excuse me. And so it got better, and this is who I am now. But I mean, if you go look at my old resume stuff, it's like.
Was there a lot of hours spending time like in front of a mirror, just like reciting shit and like practicing like your tone and your cadence?
What I would do in front of the camera was just try to get out that first sentence or two of a live shot.
Right.
So I would focus on that. But absolutely, I wouldn't say it was a lot, but certainly I definitely did try to get comfortable in front of a camera.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
it's like, no, he didn't. He was too shy, bro.
No. I mean, but it's
what are you looking at?
Look at him, man.
It's just because, like, like when you try to figure out, like, how can I improve at this? Like, you really have to, like, say, okay, where can I improve? And, like, what are the things, like he's supposed to fill 3 minutes, but, like, he's going too fast. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you figure out how to be better at that? And it's interesting, but at least you were able to make those changes.
Yeah, and really, I think most of it is just developing a comfort level and pace and repetition, like we talked about. But not to toot my own horn, but I'm very proud of the progress I made from when I started to where things finished.
Yeah, of course. And so when do you start working with Estela? When does that happen?
So I did sports for, I believe, 9 years. And then, as much as I love sports, and the way it worked at Channel 7 is I never was a free agent. They would always come to me about 6 months before my contract came up and say, hey, your contract's up in 6 months. And,
sign this.
Yeah. And so some of the talent here that just left, like Mauricio Casillas is really great. And a couple other people that just recently left El Paso, JC Navarrete, they reached that point and they said, no, I'm getting out of El Paso.
Right.
For me, I would typically go back to my ex-wife and say, hey, listen, this is the offer. It's got a 10% raise. Are you still happy in El Paso? Is this where we want to be? And the answer was always yes. So I always renewed. And I have no regrets about that, but that's really what it came down to. So I would tell them, okay, I'll sign up for another 2 years or whatever. So the more I did that, then it became really about how can I have more time to raise a family, and sports is tough to do that. So I was working probably 20 Saturdays a year and about 10 Sundays. And this is when I'm sports director. So I'm the Monday through Friday, 5, 6, and 10 guy, right? And so I'm working a lot of Saturdays and Sundays, and quality of life, you're talking about my buddies going, hey, we're going to have people barbecue for the Cowboys game, or, hey, we're all going to the UTEP game. I'm going to tailgate. I'm like, well, I'll be there, but I'll be on the sidelines running around with my head cut off because it's a big football game or whatever. So the more I thought about it, I said, you know what? For quality of life, I've got to switch to news. I don't want to leave Channel 7, but I want to switch to news. And so I planted the seed. They put me in the 4 o'clock newscast, and then they eventually put me on the morning show, and I left sports altogether. That was a dramatic change for me. And I knew when I took over the morning show, they said, hey, if you play your cards right, you'll eventually take over for Gary and work with Estela Casas, Gary Warner. And so it just kind of, I saw the pieces coming together, but there was no promise that that's the job I would get.
Did you like it though? Like, the difference between the sports and the news?
So, what's funny? I tell people that I got into, so back in the day, people would say, would you switch to news? I said, no. Why not? Well, I got in this because sports is my passion. Right. Yeah, but news makes better money. There's, whatever. It's little less stress in terms of the, sports. It was just me, myself, and I. And then now I've got a news department that kind of provides stories and stuff. And I said, no, I'm not got it for sports. Well, you wouldn't think about it. No, I'm it's not about that. It's not about being in front of the camera. It's not about ego. It's about, I love sports, and that's why I did this, and that's why I'm a sportscaster. And then you have a couple of kids. You think, you know what? Honestly, it's about paying the bills.
Right. Wait, they pay how much for that job?
How much are you going to pay me more? So so what I came to realize though, and I tell people this all the time, my passion for sports, when I switched news, I realized my passion was now for broadcasting. So I just enjoyed what I did as a broadcaster. And then they made me the politics guy when Gary left, and I like politics now. I actually probably follow politics a lot more than I do sports now. Obviously, I've got my teams, right? So Dodgers, Longhorns, Cowboys, I focus on those teams, and I can tell you anything you want to know about those teams, but I used to be able to tell you about something about the some random point guard playing for Memphis or something that I can't tell you about anymore, or
who's coming off the bench for fucking Golden State, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I had to let that stuff go, but I've enjoyed it. So I actually have a passion for politics now and a passion for news. So it did switch, and I was terrified that maybe I was going to regret it and miss sports, but for whatever reason, it was a great transition, and I never looked back.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, like you said, obviously, when you have to pay the bills, you got kids, it's like you start thinking monetarily. And, sports is cool, but it's like you can only do so much. But when you transition to, the more like TV side and doing just general like broadcasting, do you then start to realize you start having to deal with people's egos more?
Not really. I never sensed that at Channel 7, to be honest with you. I never felt that. Estela was all, thank you very much. Estela was always very laid back and down to earth. The weird thing for me too was that, well, I'm kind of getting off topic here to answer your question, but Estela did get me written up 3 times before I even got into news, because in sports I was such a smart ass that a couple times I said some things I shouldn't have said just to be a smart ass, and I got written up a few times, and we've joked about this in the past, and I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I will tell you that the transition news was easy because everyone was so nice and warm and welcoming, and they were willing to work with me and stick it out as I kind of had some bumpy moments early on.
And so what was the biggest, like, I guess what was the biggest challenge then, like working like in that environment now that like you're like the full face of like of the station, like what changes between doing that and being a sports guy?
Well, certainly, I think there's a certain level of like, okay, when you're the sports guy, if you're at a bar and someone's like, hey, let's do a shot, man.
Right.
And you're like, let's film this. Let's do that shot. And you're the sports guy. And then when you're taking over for Gary Warner, you're like, nah, I'm sorry, man. I can't do that. Or, yeah, I'll do that, but can you put your phone
put
down?
the camera down, please.
Like, so it's just a different level. And, you know, so I try to carry myself a certain way and be a little bit more mature, which has always been hard for me, but I definitely try to carry myself in a different way and be an example as opposed to before where, you know, you're that cool sports guy who, you know, let's just BS and hang out and have a good time.
Did you ever get like somebody random, like trying to like have you like tell a story like that, you know, like, dude, my neighbor, I know he's DB Cooper. You guys need to investigate him.
I did have that. Or I'll tell you, the funny thing for me is when people would be like, hey, he's on the news, man. Say like a line from the news. I'm like, what?
A line from the news?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a show pony, man. What the hell, man?
Stay classy.
Yeah.
Stay classy.
Like they want you to read like the leading like intro
read
to
the
a story or something.
8% alcohol.
So weird. That's crazy.
I mean, that would be cool.
So do you ever miss it?
I do not, to believe it or not. I enjoyed it, and again, there is a rush that comes from doing live TV news that I'm never going to get back, but I haven't missed it. I was fearful of that, but I have my quality life now that I'm at Hub. I'm basically doing sales. I'm my own boss. I create my own schedule. I set my own schedule.
Right.
I don't answer anybody for the most part, and that freedom has been fantastic. Especially because I mean, to me, the greatest blessing in life is being a father. That parenthood is the greatest thing in the world. I love my kids to death. They're a blessing in my life. I'm gonna get emotional because my son's off to college this year, but they're just great kids. They're just good kids, and they've had to deal with a lot because my ex-wife and I don't always get along, and it's been a difficult divorce. But we're 10 years out, and we still have conflict, and the kids have had to be resilient through this whole process, and they get shuttled from house to house. But just good kids. And so to me, it was all about that. I saw 4 years ago, my son's starting high school, my daughter's about to start middle school. It's time to like put up or shut up. And so about 6 months out of my contract coming up, I already knew I was not going to renew. I was getting out of TV, and I knew there was some fear of missing it. But again, my quality of life and being able to do things like this has been so rewarding and enjoyable. I mean, before I came here, I took my kids to see Minions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not doing that on the TV schedule.
And
it's
it's
just
a
not
Thursday
happening.
too. Like
Yeah.
it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, and you know what? And it's stuff like,
What day is it?
It's a day ending in Y.
as a father myself, and and obviously a son as well, it affects both. It's good for you because you're spending time with your kids, but it's also even better for them growing up, and having those memories with man, my dad and was there and doing this, and I think they'll probably appreciate that way more better these times than probably back then when you were doing all that.
Absolutely, and they've been very honest about the fact they appreciate it too. But I mostly did it for my kids. I did it for my quality of life. But I'll tell you, so this is the one that blows my mind. My daughter played 7th grade basketball, and her games were at 6:00 every day. She did 12 games or whatever the season was, right? At all those games, I was there 30 minutes before, watching her warm up. I watched the game. And then afterwards, sometimes I drove her home or I went to the snack shack and bought her a hot dog or whatever, right? So it's the very last game of the season. We're in line to get a hot dog, not from Wawa, not a Wawa.
I was going to say
I don't have
Wawa.
those here, yeah. And we look at each other. I said, baby girl, you know what? Hadn't occurred to me that I would have missed every one of your games if I was still doing TV unless I took the whole day off.
Right.
And, I'm not going to take a whole day off to watch an hour long, typically, right? Or I would have shown up with like 10 minutes left in the game.
Right.
And I said, I was at every one of your games. And she's like, Dad, I thought about that this morning too. But how funny that we were 3 years out and I had already forgotten that my life was as regimented 5-6-10, 5-6-10, 5-6-10, 5-6-10, 5-6-10, 5-6-10, where it was non-negotiable. I tell people you can't move a newscast. I can't tell. Hey,
there's no way.
Hey, get on Twitter and tell everyone we're starting at 6:05 today. Tell them we're going to be late. Rick's got to go to his daughter's dance recital.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So I don't miss that regimented aspect. It was so routine and redundant. It was always interesting, and live news is such an exciting environment, you know, but at the same time,
You kind of forget how life was without it. You know?
yeah.
So now, Rick, are you remarried right now? No, you're single. Okay, so
Did you see how he took that beer, bro?
yeah, he's like,
I'm single and ready
he's
to
like,
mingle.
you see this shot buck, baby? Okay, no, but I just wanted, and I mean, if this is too like personal, you can tell me. But do you think that being at the station and working that type of like work schedule and being in that rigid environment where like you can't compromise your schedule, like, did that ultimately lead to why it didn't work out with your wife, or was it just like not going to work out regardless?
I'm trying to decide if I want to be a smart ass or if I want to be honest.
Well, I just
want
want
to kind of the same answer. It was not going to work out.
Regardless.
We were two alpha.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're both alpha males, and it was not a good match. We again blessed with two wonderful kids, so something good came of it. But it didn't matter what I did or whatever.
And what I was kind of like getting at, was it like because of like what you were trying to pursue your career and you wanted to do things this way?
Are you having marriage problems, Chris?
No. I'm just
trying to get some advice.
I'm just thinking about it. You know what I mean?
I charge $20 an hour. I'll give you some marriage advice.
I mean, he's been through some stuff.
My friends do call me the divorce whisperer. To be
Are
honest
you?
with Yeah. All my friends, hey, I want to get a divorce. I'm like,
Hey, that's a good podcast, man. That's a good podcast.
New segment.
I'll come and give you some advice, but no, I mean, I don't think it was going to work because she's a psychopath. But okay, see, that's what I'm asking.
There's that. Okay.
And I'm sure she says the same thing about me, so it's okay.
She's looking at it right now. She's like, "No sea mamón."
She's a psychopath. That's why. Oh, that's crazy.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, so let's do this. We're coming up to 40.
Was she still upset about Philadelphia that time? Or what?
We're coming up to 46 minutes. We're gonna take a break real fast, but I wanted to ask you real fast. I'm really interested in the West Star Tower that they built. What is it like to work in there? I mean, that fucking tower looks state of the art. Like,
Can anybody just walk in there? Can I walk in there? It's just like, do I have to go through security?
No, let me know when you're coming. I'll let security know.
kick your ass out right away.
Just give me a heads up. I'll make sure you get special treatment.
But yeah, what's it like working in there? That place looks crazy.
Oh, it's beautiful, and you know, I mean, our office space is a little bit corporate America.
Right.
We got the cubbies and the bullpen and stuff like that, but it's great because I have a beautiful view of San Jacinto Plaza, and I can look out to Waters and stuff like that. Some of the corner offices can see both the ballpark and San Jacinto Plaza. On the flip side, you can see up to the Franklin Mountains and some of the I-10 area, kind of up Mesa and stuff. So
some beautiful views.
Yeah, beautiful views.
I'm gonna
It's
sneak in there and just live there.
Yeah.
You know?
What I'm excited for, though, finally, is they have that exterior elevator. So there's an interior and an exterior. Don't come to the interior. You stick to the exterior.
Don't come to either.
I'm just gonna go and be like, "Yo, I need insurance. Can I speak to Mr. Cabrera?"
Please do that, and I will give them a warning. No, so the exterior elevator is going to take you down, and you're going to have either Wessel, which is from the Corralitos people, or you're going to have there's a tropical smoothie cafe, and there's also I don't know if it's Sushito or Sushiito or whatever, but they're from Mexico, and apparently everyone says that sushi's awesome. They haven't opened yet, but Wessel is now open, and it's getting rave reviews, and the tropical smoothie cafe is
Starting to sound like a resort or something,
Yeah.
dude. I'm gonna go in there.
Dude, yeah, that building looks amazing, and like I saw, I think Hooper Vint works with you guys, right? Okay, so we had Hooper on the podcast too, and then he posted a story one day, like when he was at work, and he just had like the best view, and I was like, dude, that's badass. So
I was thinking, like, dude, is that how it looks, like being that tall? You know?
Hey, two things real quick because you mentioned Hooper. Number one, I'm not going to hold it against you guys. You had Hooper on before you had me, so I'm not.
Dude, let Chris know.
And number two, I want everyone to understand that I do work with Hooper, and he does a great job always making sure my car is warmed up and running when I come out, when my shift is done. And honestly, when he picks up my dry cleaning, it's fantastic. And the car washes he gives are terrific. So
Wow.
shout out to Hooper for all the hard work he gives.
I thought he could just ball. I thought he was just playing basketball.
No, kids,
He uses the
Hooper's
exterior elevator.
Yeah, Hooper's going to be a superstar in the insurance industry. He knows his stuff. He's a sharp kid, and he does great with dry cleaning.
Okay. On that note, let's go ahead and take a quick break here. When we come back, Rick has this story where they're racing news trucks down a freaking, I don't even know how to, down a drag strip, and this went, I guess, viral back in the day. If you like.
Before viral was a thing.
Before viral was viral. So we'll get into that. Then we got some trending topics. And then I got some 5 random questions at the end for Mr. Rick Cabrera here. So thank you again for joining us. Episode 134. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Try to replace me, but bitch, I'm one of a kind. You know I be speed racing up on the highway 95. Look, I don't give a fuck why these niggas hating on me. Oh wait, because I got your bitch tripping on me. She said my love promethazine got her leaning on me. Spanish mommy with that accent, bet she call me Poppy. Okay, yeah, she be hitting my phone like when she
Glaucoma.
Okay, guys,
Cataracts.
we
all
are
have
back from
glaucoma.
break. There's a scent of CBD flowing in the air. I don't know what that is. It smells delightful. It smells like somebody has severe, what is it, cataracts, Misa, maybe? But yeah, I guess.
Something.
Okay, we
I
are back.
forgot.
We are back from break, episode 134, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. With special guest of the podcast, Mr. Rick Cabrera, in the building with us. Thank you once again for being here today,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
We really do appreciate it. You said before you were at the Minions movie. How was that? Were you into that? I didn't know how the Minions got so popular. I thought it was just.
I thought it's pretty
Despicable
good,
Me.
dude.
I like the
I like the
Minions.
Minions.
All right, so let me tell you about being old. I was excited, enjoyed the movie, but I fell asleep twice. And the kids had
Hey,
Great
that's not bad.
movie, awesome movie.
you guys will realize this. When you reach a certain age, if you stop
Right.
and you're in darkness, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It could be Avengers Endgame. You're going to sleep.
We could turn off the lights right now and they'll pass out.
I mean, trust me. Like there's just a certain age where it's just over. It's like it could be the greatest.
Chris is
movie
already
ever.
there.
Yeah, I'm already there, dude. For real. That's why I stopped going to movies. It was a complete waste of money. Yeah, I
dude.
would just go in there and fall asleep.
But I was like, it was okay. I mean, scale of 1 to 10, I give it like a 7 or 6 or something. It's funny. And Steve Carell as Gru is just like a perfect casting, right? But I'm like really enjoying it, and I'm snipping off my daughter's
the high C or the icy.
her what is it, a milkshake, right?
They have
And
milkshakes at the movies?
yeah, for the kids. And I was having a beer, and so I'm drinking the beer, the milkshake, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, oh no. But it was good. It was good. And then we saw Elvis.
Windows.
We saw Elvis last night.
Elvis.
So we did the back to back. So we did Elvis yesterday, and then we did Minions today.
How was Elvis? I've been wanting to see
It was good. It's a lot. Like it's coming at you pretty quick. It's like if you have ADD, it's perfect for you because it never stops for a sec. The editing on that is so fast paced and quick. And
You weren't able to fall asleep.
no, I've not if I wanted to. There's too many strobe lights, man. If anything, I almost had a seizure. But it was good. It was entertaining. I just blows my mind that he was only 44 or 42 when he died. I just always assumed he was like in his 60s or 50s, but. Man, Elvis was young when he died. It's pretty sad.
So is it really true that he died on the toit?
I don't know if that's true.
Is that-
it doesn't show that?
Okay, do
Yeah,
they say
that'd be a
do they
shitty
talk
ending,
about
huh?
that? Well, yeah. Give him a round of applause.
He's in the fax machine.
Give him
Sending
a
the
round
fax.
of a laugh for that one. But I thought they don't talk about that at all. Like they just like the
No,
No,
Chris,
it
like
it would ju-
at
it just
the
cut
end, he's
to
like he died by
he
the
died,
shitter.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought
Yeah.
that was like a I don't know, like a myth. No.
Well, they say they
Yeah,
found him in the restroom.
I've never investigated. I guess I could Google that and find out.
That's
but
just what I heard.
Urban
I just,
legend.
yeah, the
Yeah, I
urban
think it's an
legend.
urban legend.
So are you like a big movie guy? Like what's like your favorite like genre of movie?
Sci-fi or Star Wars, things like that, and the superhero movies. So I grew up as a comic book nerd, and I never thought I would see superhero movies at the level I see them now. So sometimes I just lay back and I'm so appreciative. Yeah, because I grew up watching some really crappy attempts at being superhero movies. Where you could see the strings and crap. You know?
Or like the Hulk is just a guy painting.
Yeah, like it was bad. And so now when you see how far they've come, that's pretty awesome. But I'm a huge Star Wars fan growing up as well. And my son became a Star Wars fan, and he took me to another level. Like he just blew me out of the water how much stuff he knows. I thought I knew Star Wars, and he just.
Did you guys watch all those series on Disney Plus?
Absolutely, they're good too. I've enjoyed all of them. Yeah, they've been great. What was I gonna say? But for the most part, it's mostly sci-fi stuff like that. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Star Wars. I like more like to me, I like more of the war movies, but also like Lord of the Rings was also one that was like, that one got me like super like into like what it's like to be like in another world. You know what I mean?
And there's a series coming out, right?
Yeah, they're making like, so
it's the different ring. There's other rings apparently.
Well, because like from what I understand, there was like the rings of power. And then like obviously they all like ended up in different like people's hands, whether it was like the humans, the elves, the dwarves, whoever. But it's very interesting, and like I like the way they shoot like those movies. Like the cinematography is like amazing.
Yeah,
and that's what I really like.
Chris would be one of those dwarfs.
Yeah, I mean for
like
sure, dude. I would fit in like the dwarf like world. You know what I mean? That's like what would you be, like an elf or
probably an elf? Yeah.
You don't look like an elf, dude. I don't know.
No,
I'd be a human, like no powers, just a regular guy, a farmer.
All right, so let's do this. I want to ask Rick about this situation that landed him in some hot water back in the day. So Rick, go ahead and set the table for us. What are we doing with these two news trucks?
Yeah, so I was about to go for Gary Warner as the main guy, and I'm a passenger here because I want to establish something. We win this race if I'm driving, but I'm not.
You're on the white.
I'm in the white van in the passenger. So there had been a deadly drag racing accident on I-10 the night before, and so our story, and the reason Channel 4 was also out there, and there were 3 viewers, was that they basically were saying, hey, stop drag racing on I-10. There's a safe way to drag race. There's a drag strip on the east side. So we went out and did stories at 10 o'clock news, and we said, hey, listen, there's a safe place to drag race. Stop drag racing on I-10. When the event ended, we were done with our live shots. I said, hey, the line is ridiculous. So if you want to leave now, you either have to wait for everyone else to drag race, or you can take the strip. And we looked at the Channel 4 people and we're like, you want to just take the strip? And we're like, yeah, okay, let's take the strip. I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was no big deal. And again, because we had to leave that way. That was, again, 10 o'clock newscast is over. We've done a live shot. We've told people, hey, stop being idiots and drag racing on I-10. There's a safe option in East El Paso. Here it is. We're live tonight. Look at this line of cars all the way out to I-10 of cars waiting to do the strip. And so they're like, yeah, let's just go at the same time. And cameras were on, and phones were on, and people were recording this. And so my boss calls me Monday morning. He goes, hey, I need to talk to you about what happened Friday. I said, what happened Friday? He's like, you know what happened Friday. And honestly, it didn't register.
You didn't think it was like that big of a deal?
Yeah, I didn't think about it. And he's like, Rick, this is national news. They want me to fire you. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yes, Anderson Cooper's going to carry it. It was running the news in Europe. It was all over the freaking world, man.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, and because again, it does sound funny, right? Live TV, live trucks. And so the way Anderson Cooper spoke was like, hey, these guys just reported on a deadly drag race, and these idiots are drag racing. But that was not the point of the story. Right. And again, I'm about 3 months away from taking over for Gary Warner. Like, what did you do? So I'm just like, I didn't see it, And so my brother called me and he's like, they're going to fire you, dude. And I'm like, I think I am going to get fired. And so I went in there, I fell on the sword. I actually tried to say, I was the adult in the room kind of thing. I'm the senior reporter. I should take the heat. Don't suspend him. Don't do anything with him. And so I misspoke when we talked earlier. But so they suspended him and I tried to take his suspension. They wouldn't do that. And then the Channel 4 guy got fired. Oh, the guy driving the Channel 4, but that was like strike 20 or 10 or something.
That ain't the first drag race.
But look how the story sounds, right? Like, hey, look, Channel 4 fired that guy. They're keeping Rick.
Yeah, that's all they're gonna hear.
Yeah, exactly. Now again, he was an idiot. And he probably deserved it.
You're skating on thin ice.
Yeah,
as it was.
exactly.
Yeah, but ever since then, Channel 4 is all like, yeah, we'll get there first.
But again, the running joke was always like, man, trust me, if I'd been behind the wheel, we wouldn't have lost. I may have lost my job, but at least we wouldn't have lost.
We wouldn't have lost our dignity.
You were doing it safely. Yeah. You weren't on I-10.
And
those things actually have, what do they call them? Governors. restrictor, so you can't even go over 65 or 60 on those things anyway.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. Like those are company-owned vans, and so they have like those little like GPS speed monitoring things that will like start going crazy once you hit like 60 or 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean those things. We don't even do live trucks anymore. They're pretty much a thing of the past because of the internet and all this different stuff. But FTP feeds. But when I think back in the day, those used to cost about $80,000. So
you guys are burning the tires on them. And this was at San Eli, right? At this racetrack way
out there on the way. Yeah.
More expensive than any car that raced that night.
They're burning down the wheels on these fucking news vans. Channel 4 ain't got shit on us. Like, yeah, dude, that's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Fuck. So yeah, and the funny part is that you were kind of like, you know what? I didn't think that was a big deal. Like, what? We were just having fun out here.
I mean, literally, the guy that ran the strip literally said, "Hey, if you it's a Friday night at 10:10. We just finished a live shot. I want to get home to my family or get home to a beer, right?
Right.
And so I'm just like, hey, I called the owner over. And I'm like, hey, we got to go. What about this line? He's like, just take the strip. It'll be the quickest way out. I'm like, okay.
Say less. Say less. We're about to bust these tires.
That wasn't like Fast and the Furious is coming out,
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, but I totally understand what you mean. Having to get home to a beer, that's like, that's like my everyday priority. So I definitely understand.
It's why he wakes up.
Right. Yeah, I wake up to get to the next beer. Chewy's over here dying in the back. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Any other like memories or stories like that you have, like kind of relative to like your time being with the station?
Covering the Pope, when the Pope's visit was a big deal, and then the Storm 2006.
Oh, dude, that was real as fuck. Where were you? Like, were you living on the west side at that time?
Yeah, and we were on the air for I think 36 straight hours without break, and so I remember subbing in and doing like a 12-hour shift, and we didn't take breaks, and we were just telling people what was happening because it was changing every minute, and reporters were coming in and saying, I just got back from the Blockbuster, and it's gone. The Blockbuster's KFC's gone. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so it really got to the point where literally, you'd be anchoring live, and someone would come in there and say, hey, Mike just got back. He's got a video to show you. I'm like, okay. So Mike would sit down and we would just show
Cue it up. Let's go.
Exactly. Let's go. Let's see it. And he'd be like, hey, I was here. This is where I am. Blah, blah, blah. And this is what we're seeing. And it was intense. It was crazy.
And the sad part is like the last time that I can remember like the news being on like live like that was the August 3rd shooting at the Walmart. But before that, like that 2006 torrential fucking downpour that like not only did it ruin that fucking Blockbuster, it ruined Blockbuster in general.
Yeah,
that shit just fucking
knocked them out.
After that, they were like, we are fucking done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I remember I was in like Ruidoso when that was happening, and we came back and like it was just like a shit show. Like I think Shadow Mountain Road was like fucking covered in like rocks, like big ass rocks, like the mountain had come down on it. That shit was wild, dude.
My brother was at the time working in Amsterdam with his family, and I said, bro, El Paso's great. Come on down. I got a pool. We'll just swim. Like I'm going to take the week off and we're just going to swim. We'll just swim every day. He had at the time like a 5 and a 6-year-old. I'm like, dude, we don't make any plans. You're just going to come. We're going to chill. We're going to sit by the pool and we're going to swim. We're just going to swim. Dude, we couldn't swim because my pool was overflowing and it was now up against the side of my house.
Holy shit.
And so instead of swimming, we were throwing down sandbags. It was crazy.
Dude,
I remember my back door, like I had a big ass glass door and you could see the water.
Dude, and it's crazy because like I guess they just contribute that like or attribute that to just like a massive amount of rain just falling in like such a short period of time.
Well, the cloud just wouldn't move; it just parked over.
It was just fucking
stationary, and they're screwed.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
There was also the was it 2 years later or 2011 when we had the
freeze?
The freeze.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
That was crazy too. We did a lot of news coverage on that, but I got to be honest. I mean, there's nothing that can compete with doing live news and breaking news where. Right. I would love just to be able to tell someone so, they would pop up the some major incident on I-10, maybe a road closure that's having a huge impact. And, Estela and I were just looking at it live and we're just trying to share people what we know. And people are telling us, hey, or with the storm or with both the storm and the freeze, it was like they're in our ear every 5 minutes saying, hey, Paso Electric just said this, or they just canceled school tomorrow. And we're just going on the fly and we're just sharing information as it pops in our ear. And I just always thought that was so much fun. Let me correct myself. Fun's the wrong word, right. But it was just such a rush,
right?
You know,
yeah. Especially like you said, it's getting fed to you live in your ear, and then you're the first one that hears about it. So you're breaking it to all these people that are literally depending on your coverage because they're worried about school or like, are we going to lose power? Like, what the fuck's going to happen? So I can understand what you see. Like, it's not like great, but it's like it's a rush for you.
Well, because I'm proving myself, right? This is what I study, and this is where I want to be. And so when Gary Warner told me, he said, you know, be the calm in the eye of the storm. That was his advice to me, be the calm in that storm. And I tell the story I actually told to my kids recently. I remember like, so one of the producers or the news director running in my office say, hey, there's breaking news, get a tie on and get out to the set, right? And so I'd put my tie on, and then I would start walking to the set and let's go. And I'm like, what good is it going to do if I get there 30 seconds earlier, but I'm a spaz, I'm like frazzled and I'm out of breath. I'm like, calm down. Like we'll be on, I'm ready to go. I'm looking at my notes. I'm jotting some things down. Let me just take my pace and walk to the set and get a mic on and we'll go, you know? So it wasn't like I was being lazy or anything, but it doesn't do anyone any good to be a spaz. Like when I'm sharing this breaking news. So I remember I always took that advice, and I took pride in that too, in being that calm in the eye of the storm. And so there was numerous times where they were like, come on, Rick. And I'm like, I'm coming. You know,
show your ass out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we do these trending topics, we already touched on the Ivan Melendez thing a little bit, but before we get into that, if you had advice to give to like anybody that is like a younger person trying to get into, you know, whether it's TV or sports journalism, anything like along those lines, what's like the best piece of advice that you can give them?
Do an internship. I believe in internships because it does give you a taste of what's to come. And I use the example of, we would get interns all the time in the sports department and say, I want to be on ESPN. I want to be Chris Berman, and you know, I want to be this guy or whatever. And I'd say, okay, come watch me run my ass up and down the sideline of the Sun Bowl, trying to get interviews live and taped in highlights and stuff back to the studio. And there was a few people that came and did that and said, you know what, I don't want to be, you know, if this is what it's going to take for me to get to ESPN, then I don't think I want to do it. So I believe in internships. Plus, it got me the job in Phoenix, right? As I told you guys that story. So that internship paid off. And then the thing I heard recently, and I've been thinking about this more and more, because I've always done career days, and I've said, find your passion, follow your passion. But I heard recently, no, you don't follow your passion, you follow your talent. Figure out what your talent is, pursue that, and then your passion can be your weekend hobby. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you're into surfing and you're not a very good surfer, but you love surfing, then your talent's not surfing. Your hobby or your passion is surfing, and get a really kick-ass job, get really successful at your talent, and then you can do that stuff on the weekends or whatever. But so I've kind of changed my thinking. It's splitting hairs, but this idea of following your talent, not your passion, has been resonating with me lately.
Yeah, that's valuable. Some good advice right there too, for sure. I mean, because like, people always say follow your dreams. That's like the cliche thing, but you know, like if your dream is to be you know, LeBron James, and you're fucking you're 5'5" like Jimmy over here. Look at him. And his vision is not 20/20. He doesn't really have a jump shot. You know what I mean? Doesn't
Other
really
than those like 3 or 4 different. Right.
Other than that, I mean,
he's basically LeBron. Right. He's basically.
So he needs to find another talent. Like, sorry, dude, basketball. Play at the fucking rec center here on the weekends.
He could be the LeBron of the rec.
Right. West Side rec LeBron right here. But for real, I think like that is good advice. And sorry, Chewy, I just had to take you out. Normally I take out Joe, but he's not here, and I can't do that to my sister. That's disrespectful.
No, you can't.
It's the Mexican family, you know. Don't disrespect the females.
I can hang.
Okay, so anyways. Let's do this, guys. Let's do these trending topics really fast. Like I said, we got into the first one. Misa, can you introduce Amanda introducing the topics, please?
That's right. It's time for Top Topics with Amanda.
Hey, guys. So the first trending topic that's really big here in the borderland is the Texas first baseman Ivan Melendez getting drafted this weekend to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I know it's something that probably the entire city of El Paso, and heck, even the state of Texas, with him being from the Longhorns, should be really proud of. So congratulations to
dude.
Ivan.
Another round of applause.
Yes.
Even the city gave him like his own month. Like they
Dude
gave
got
him
his
like
own month.
July or something's like his own Ivan Melendez month in the city of El Paso. That's badass. How do you think Rick he's gonna fare with the Diamondbacks? Do you see him like doing some time like in the minor leagues, or how do you kind of see it playing out?
Typically, a college player that has put in their time isn't going to be in the minors as long. So
Right.
I think he'll probably start in high A or double A, and then I wouldn't be surprised again if he's successful. I can't predict how he'll succeed at that level. I expect him to succeed, but if he succeeds, I think within a year or two we'll see him in the big leagues.
Right. Yeah, and it's we talked about this in the first half, guys, but yeah, like we're all very excited. It's cool to see like when you go on Facebook or Instagram and you see like everybody you know is like supporting him and like posting about him, sharing like an article about him, because like sometimes El Paso there's a lot of haters. Everybody just hates on each other. But when you see like people get behind somebody like this, it's really cool, and I think it's good for El Paso for people to support fellow El Pasoans as they go out into the world and do big things like this.
Absolutely, 100% agree. I think it's disheartening. When I moved here, people would ask me, "Do you like El Paso?" I'd say, "Oh, so far so good," and they'd be like, seriously, man, you don't like it. You hate it here, don't you?" Like, no, I like El Paso. I'm like, get this chip off your shoulder, man.
Right.
Like,
It's like, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad here.
I just moved back from South Florida. Believe me, it is not that bad.
Could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
When I moved here, we didn't have Starbucks, so I can't complain.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, what the? I moved from Phoenix. I was like, there's no Starbucks here?
Dunkin' Donuts was your coffee.
Dunkin' or like McDonald's coffee or Circle K coffee, whatever the case. Do you like hot or iced coffee, by the way? I'm an iced coffee guy.
Depends on time of day. So
Okay.
I start with hot coffee, and then by midday, I'm switching to ice.
Okay, nice.
So
So you
Hot
drink
all
a
day.
lot. You drink a lot of coffee.
I
then,
do
huh?
drink a lot of coffee.
Nice. Oh yeah. Okay, so shout out to our boy Ivan. He was on the podcast, so if you guys haven't, go back and check out his episode. It was really cool to talk to him. So give him a round of applause, Misa, and then let's move on to this next topic here.
All right, so the next one.
Oh no!
Have you
This
seen
is
this one?
pretty fun.
Okay,
Like-
this one was ruthless. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so this is called the Oklahoma drill. The video's not loaded.
The dreaded
That's
Oklahoma.
Choklahoma. If you're a Longhorn fan,
Oh, dude.
Okay.
All
All right. So let's give some context to this. So AJ Dillon, he's a running back for the Green Bay Packers. I think he's like a second or third stringer.
he backs up Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he
He's
backs
really
up Aaron
good,
Jones.
yeah.
He's the guy is built. The guy is absolutely built. The Twitter video doesn't want to come up, huh?
Oh, it was up. Here we
There
go.
it is. Okay,
All right.
so Amanda, go ahead and play this, and then kind of explain what you're watching as this goes down.
Okay, so we have a mascot kind of sitting down with his leg stretched and turned his back. Then there's a football player laying down. So we're gonna play this. This is bad.
It's
They
a
just get
football
up.
drill,
Yep,
yeah.
he just gets drilled. So there's no way that guy knew that was a football player on the other end. Because look at this.
Like he wants to hurt him.
Decks him.
Bro, okay, so yeah, who's on the sideline that puts this together and is like, hey, AJ, this kid, he's like an 18-year-old, like, he's not a professional,
Makes like
never,
$3 an hour.
Yeah, can you, like, take it easy on him? And then he's like, sure, he rips his fucking head off. God damn.
That guy quit that day.
Crazy.
Dude, that's how hard Chris
Oh
takes
my
down his
God.
beers, bro.
AJ Dillon is me running at a pack of Bud Lights, just like that, destroying them.
I sure hope he has some good insurance.
So what do you think this guy was thinking, Rick, when he turns around and sees this animal, AJ Dillon, bearing down on him?
He couldn't even
Oh,
see, probably.
I don't think he even had a chance.
He probably couldn't even see.
No, he
didn't
just
know what
felt
he
it.
was
I just don't. I'm gonna see. My thing is AJ Dillon. Like, calm down, dude.
Yeah.
Relax, man.
Chill, dude.
Yeah.
He wants
like,
to get that starting position.
Yeah. It's not Aaron Jones.
Bro, he looks like he's running through the Dallas defensive line, and it's fourth and goal.
Hashtag facts. Man.
And he's just demolishing anything that moves. Jesus
And look,
Christ.
this guy's just ready with his phone because he knows this guy's about to get that.
Yeah.
He just comes in, gotta post that.
Like Van Der Esch getting run over.
So what do you do? Do you help the mascot right away? Like,
Dude,
what-
he's dead. Dude, that's murder.
like that
What are you
poor
talking
guy,
about?
dude? I would never be a mascot again after that. Like, fuck no. You're going to put me in what kind of drill? Oklahoma? Fuck no. Hell no.
Imagine little kids looking at that.
Exactly.
There's a school where you can study to be a mascot. The gorilla at the Suns used to run a camp that he would teach how to be a mascot.
Oh, shit.
No way.
Well,
I don't know if that still exists, but can you imagine?
But he was a wild mascot. He would do like flips and shit, right?
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like on YouTube.
I mean,
That's
but
crazy.
it's happened. Maybe it's just training, you know, because you've seen those games where like that running back is, you know, on the sideline and he gets hit and then he takes out the mascot, or that receiver catches a ball in the end zone and just runs over the mascot. Ever seen that?
Well, I've never seen that, but this mascot's going to need a lot more fucking training than that, because that, God bless, poor guy. One more time. Whap! Oh, you paused it. There you go. Poor guy. Okay, so our condolences to our mascot there. AJ Dillon, maybe, you know, tone it down next time.
I hope he can still have kids.
Yeah, dude, Jesus,
Baby
poor
mascots.
guy. I hope he can walk after that. Jesus Christ. Miss, you got any final words for the mascot?
Dude, nah, man, may he rest in peace.
Please, okay. Let's get some music. Let's get this last topic in real fast.
All right, so the last one, typical El Paso. This is a man that was struck by a vehicle
man.
after an argument over a parking space at Target. This isn't even Walmart.
Look at all the empty parking spots.
This is
dog.
Target. Let's see what this video holds.
So what? So does going to Target just make you that fucking irate that you're just ready to fucking...
Target gets down.
Has he never been to Walmart? That's Walmart behavior.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought like this was acceptable at Walmart, but
Yeah.
at Target, that's like, you know...
This is
Not right.
It's not classy anymore, dude.
yeah. Stay classy.
So this guy actually got charged also because he tried to run over the guy, and the guy hopped in his car, and in the car was a kid, like a small child. So the guy also got charged for endangering
13-year-old, yeah.
the child. Yeah. And it's crazy, but like, are we really just going this ham over fucking
just
Target?
lawless.
Like, this is wild.
Dude.
And this is the one by Bassett, so it's like, you never know over there.
Well,
That
let's start
explains a lot.
Who watches K-Fox? Let's start there.
He's like, come on.
Is this a local station? Are they on the air still?
Taking shots at K-Fox here. I like K-Fox.
But there's
man.
no. I want to say. Oh, so we're not going to see it. We're just going to see the.
Yeah, I don't think they-
understand. I mean,
yeah.
it makes sense.
Private property that, you know, they're not going to release.
They were
it.
drag racing to caught the video.
Yeah, you start drag racing, they're going to get your ass.
So do we know which car? Like, I just want to understand what happened here. So do we know which car we want to be mad at?
Both, dude. They were both arguing.
So go ahead and read the details up at the top a little bit. There's your
Let's
culprit
see.
right
Okay.
there.
Chris.
Dang.
So Hernandez assaulted signs. Let's see. Backed his Ford Explorer. Ran back to his Ford Explorer. And let's see.
He reverses
This guy,
CRV.
the
into
CRV reversed
Collided into
it.
Right.
Okay, yeah, now there's 3 cars involved.
We need to relax, man. People are just
real.
worked up.
Somebody said that, like, if you shaved the beard, that's Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Yeah.
I saw that on the comment. I was like, God damn the internet. You guys are savages. But
I
yeah.
don't want to say anything wrong because that guy looks like he'll kick my ass, man. And he's
He'll
willing
run you over, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. The 13-year-old was in the Explorer when it was rammed.
God bless.
13-year-old in imminent danger.
From a fucking guy just trying to get... What do you think he was buying at Target that's so important?
I don't know, man.
Condoms?
Nah.
No.
Some,
This dude. Nobody's got guesses. Of what he was, nobody has a guess.
Some
What he
He was
was
frozen
getting
dinners,
a
maybe?
coffee at Starbucks.
coffee?
Like
Okay.
the new Hello Kitty toy came out or something, and he just
Okay.
wanted to be first in line.
So, guys, if you go to Target, watch out and don't fight over a parking spot. It's not worth it. Walk.
just walk a
Bassett-
couple more.
Right.
That parking lot's intense because you got Costco right there.
Right, that's
too.
what I was saying.
there's a
Over
lot
there,
going on.
Bassett area, things change a little bit. You
well, I
know,
mean, at least just don't use your car. Like, go at it. It's just don't use your car. You know,
just
like,
start fighting
Your
the guy.
words.
Right? Yeah. Words hurt.
Use your
you know?
words.
Not your car.
You know,
You
you're
gotta
in
be
Texas,
careful
right?
nowadays. I know.
See, that's like a Florida news story.
Right.
That's what I expected.
Yeah,
but
Florida man.
Yeah.
Dot.
Floridians.
Well,
Floridians
they're
gone
crazy
wild.
out there.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do now, guys, is we're at 28 minutes here, so we're gonna transition to the back end of the podcast. Get ready to wrap this up with our boy, Mr. Rick Cabrera here. But before we do that, before we do the 5 random questions, does anybody know what time it is? Does anybody got the time? Judy, you got the time? Anybody time?
What is it?
8:02.
Oh,
Is that a joke?
Sorry, man, but that's wrong. Because actually, it's time for the 5 random questions here at Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, hosted by your boy Chris Marquez.
It's 8:02, Rick.
I want to win some money.
It is 8:02. You were
Yeah.
right. But for the purpose of this segment, you were wrong because it's time for 5 random questions. So I got 5 random questions. But first, I got to know, are you guys ready for this? Chewy, are you ready? Okay.
Hell
Blue,
yeah, LeBron
yes.
James.
Amanda, are you
let's
ready?
do it.
Misa, are you ready? Mr. Rick, are you ready?
Yeah, I mean, what choice do I have?
Hey, you're in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, question
excited.
number 1. Let's get some music
Big money,
here.
big money, big money.
It's my favorite song of all time, by the way. It's great. Really like it. All right, Mr. Rick, if you were forced to get a tattoo and you can get it anywhere on your body, what type of tattoo would you get and what would it be of?
I can't.
And where?
There's a joke here that I make on a regular basis that I'm not going to make.
Oh. We'll edit it out.
So we're forcing you to get a tattoo, but at least we're giving you a choice of what it is. So it's like, you know.
Oh my God, I can't believe I don't have anything.
It's like Channel
Maybe
4
you're
beat
like
me.
your ex-wife, like on your on your back somewhere, like in the past, you know?
Yeah. With 2 X's or the circle.
It's like her name scratched off.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go my ex-wife's name scratched off in my back.
There you go.
It's like a list.
The Wawa logo.
Yeah, the Wawa logo.
Hey, there you go.
Right here on your shoulder and shit. Yeah.
Sorry, I failed
That'd be
miserably.
good.
I lose points there for
Man,
sure.
the fucking Wawa thing. That shit
know.
is so funny.
You need to go to one.
Yo, pull up what a Wawa looks like. I just
Yeah.
want to see it really fast. I've never even heard of this fucking place until now. And now
Wawa's
we've
all
said
over the West Coast.
I've said Wawa more than I've ever.
And they're known for their like hot dogs mostly, or what?
Nah, I mean, just
It's just a
you know,
store,
whatever
dude.
they got
it's
there.
just a Wawa. You know what I mean? Okay,
It's got
so
whatever you want.
so a tattoo of your ex-wife with double X's through it.
Yeah.
That does sound very lovely. Okay, so question number 2, Misa. Let's get a couple more.
Look at that.
Some more
Good
music.
hours. See that 19?
Wow. Okay. Wawa. Wow. See if you can share this into the Zoom really fast, just so people can see what a Wawa looks like. And so these are like, it's a world-renowned store, huh?
They're, I think they started in Jersey, and then they they're all along the eastern seaboard. So in this, they're just now getting into like South Florida.
Wow.
And they are packed like 24/7, and they have good coffee.
Okay,
I'll say
good.
that.
Thank you, our Wawa expert, Amanda.
Yeah, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Dude, and I don't see no crackhead in the front doors, bro. That's fucking
No, they're
awesome.
there.
They're there. No, they're there. They're always there, Misa.
They're by the nacho cheese.
They're drinking the bag of the nacho cheese. All right, question number 2. Mr. Rick, would you spend 6 months living in a remote wilderness for $500,000? And could you even make it for 6 months?
So I couldn't make it for 6 months. I'm very much not a.
You're not a camping guy?
I'm not a camping guy.
Right. We went camping and we stayed at an Airbnb. That was our camping. That is facts.
Yeah, I would do it. I would say yes. I'd
Right.
give it a shot because $500,000 ain't bad. I'll take that kind of coin, but I would fail miserably. So
I don't think you're coming back though.
yeah, I'm probably not going to make it back.
He's like,
but-
"Where's the coffee?"
I mean, I got to be honest. So losing like maybe 20 lbs wouldn't hurt me. So maybe I say
little
yes.
famine here and
there. Maybe I get like a bug, a stomach
Right,
bug or something like that.
Yeah, so I asked this question to Blue, and Blue was like, I wouldn't make it the 6 months, but I'll be out there trying. So he was like, he knew he was gonna lose his life over this, and he's willing to risk it for $500,000. That's good. It's good to know.
Chris wouldn't last like 48
Is there like
hours.
can you tap out? Is there an ability to tap
Nah,
out?
you see, that's the thing is like
You
you either
die.
make the 6 months or that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what is it like? There's shows about this stuff.
Right.
The guys that get out
Naked
there
and
stuff.
afraid.
Yep.
Yeah.
like naked,
You're like.
and afraid.
All right,
When
Misa,
I'm naked, people get afraid. Is that a different show?
that's a different show.
Okay.
That's a different
All right,
show.
well. Well,
I think that's late night.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find my page on.
Follow it, by the way. So, Misa, would you make it for 6 months?
I think so.
You're a total
Really?
liar.
Yeah.
He's a liar.
Yeah, dude. I
Can you even pitch a tent?
Dude, I could start a fire. Just give me a lighter.
Okay.
So you're gonna catch a fish with your hand.
Probably. I mean, I'll figure something out.
I guess fishing's really the key. They say like with my sister watches these shows, not the other one. There's one on Netflix right now or something that she swears by, and you got to figure out a way to catch fish.
Yeah.
Like
You gotta have some food.
I mean, you
Yeah.
guys seen Castaway, right? He did it for way longer than that.
So you're okay, there, man. Okay.
that's a movie.
Right. I trust Tom Hanks and Wilson more than you.
Real.
Brother, my life's a movie.
My life's the All right. Let's get some more music here. Question number 3. Jesus Christ, Lisa. Okay, so Mr. Rick, do the people who are constantly holding up the line at your neighbor's Circle K buying scratch-offs annoy you?
First of all, I'd be a Wawa. No.
There's no Wawas here.
Yes, they do annoy
Yes,
me.
thank you. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. First of all, I want my Slurp and I want it now.
Right.
You know, and get your damn tickets some other time.
Get them online.
What I hate is that they go to the same fucking lottery ticket section that's always been there, and they're looking at it like number 12. What's number 12? 12 is no, not that one. The 500 jackpot? No. Yeah,
You know what
no.
I hate? And then like there's a long line, and then there's 2 employees, but there's only one register open. The other guy's just like stacking
Yep.
cigarettes.
The other
Just
guy's
looking
always
back at
doing
the
some
long
other
line,
shit.
you know, like
yep. Looking at the line
Suckers.
like sucks. Yeah, dude.
There's people, I don't know. I worked with some people that took like their lotto scratch off seriously.
No,
where they would
they do.
ask the like cashier, "Oh, what number in the sequence of roll is that?" And
Exactly.
determine it. I'm like, okay, now like, if you're
that
gonna
is out of
win,
control.
Yeah, it's just luck.
Yo, do you know the winning numbers?
Yeah.
They're like, let me get 5 of number 5, but let me get the 5th one of every fucking one that you pull out. It's like, bro, what is that?
I tell you what I find interesting is there's these people who want them, they get them for presents. Like literally they'll be
Right.
like, hey, it's grandpa's birthday.
Get him some
We're getting him 10
scratch-offs.
scratch-offs, and he's like ecstatic,
Yeah.
you know? I don't get that into my scratch-off, so.
Yeah.
It's been a
me
while
neither.
since I've had a scratch off.
Yeah, but they do definitely annoy me, and I think we can all agree with that.
It's
So-
Chris.
My gambling now is I do, what is it called? Prize picks.
What is
Prop
that?
betting.
Oh shit! Like DraftKings and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
but the
okay.
one I use is Prize Picks. So you'll like Clayton Kershaw over 6 strikeouts, and Trey Turner over 2 hits or something like
Okay,
that.
nice.
You've won a lot of money on that?
No, I'm not.
It's because like you can't get into like the full DraftKings yet because of Texas. Like,
Yeah, I know you can't.
Yeah, and until they open up the fucking market, the gambling market here, then you could be fucking wagering all day on your phone.
So let me tell you what's funny about this. So I think my initial buying was like $100, and I'm still at $100. So I've had the app for a year, and I've made crap tons of bets, but I'm still at $100.
Hey.
But it says I've won $3,000.
What?
So, but the 3,000 means that I'm back to like I've won 3,000. I've lost 3,000
Okay.
because I'm still at my initial deposit. Does that make sense?
So yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, again, my initial balance was about $100. I'm still at $100. I go up to like 110, back to 85 or whatever, and it says $3,000 won. I'm like, all right, but I got nothing to show for it.
So what's your wager for tomorrow? I know you got one.
Yeah,
I know
you'll
you
want
got
to
one.
fade me for sure. I haven't looked yet. I usually do it morning of.
The only gambling I really like to do is, it's not even gambling, but I like fantasy football. Fantasy football is really cool. But you know what, like, picking games against the spread, like that shit is so hard. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to lose my money on this, but it is interesting. I can see why people do it.
When I'm really confident, it's when I always lose. Like,
Yeah,
oh
you
my
see?
god! I mean,
That would be
come on,
me.
man. You're like, it's the 2 top offenses in the NFL going against each other with crappy defenses. It's got to be the over, right?
Right, always.
And then it's like, final score 17-14 or something like that.
Yeah, dude, fucking sports gambling. God bless. All right, God bless America too,
Yes.
by the way. Okay, question number 4. I think this is number 4. No, this is question
That's
number
4.
4. This one's courtesy of you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
I don't remember.
Mr. Rick, if you could be a part of any like television family in the history of television, who would it which family would you be with? I would go with the Simpsons.
Yeah. I'm gonna age myself But people used to think I was like Eddie Haskell. Do you guys know who Eddie Haskell is from Leave It to Beaver?
I've heard of Eddie Haskell, yeah. Leave It to Beaver.
So Eddie Haskell was the guy at Leave It to Beaver, and again, I'm aging myself here, black and white show, but just so you understand, I'm not that old. It's just that they ran reruns when I was growing up, and you had 5 channels to choose from, right? But Eddie Haskell was that guy that always kissed the parents' butts, and then but they knew he was a troublemaker,
right? Yeah.
And that was kind of me growing up. I'd walk and I go, "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, how's it going? Just having a good time." Yeah, that's Eddie Haskell, and he was always. And I actually saw a meme the other day that no one was better at stealing a scene than Eddie Haskell, but he would come in. He would brown nose the parents. They knew he was trouble, and then he would go talk to the kids and be creating drama or trouble all the time. So I've always thought Eddie Haskell was great from that
these pictures
standpoint.
are in black and white.
Yeah, I know. And again, I didn't watch them. I didn't watch first runs. They were old ones.
Because that's all they would loop on the TV.
Yeah, they would just loop it. Yeah,
dude, that's crazy.
But yeah, so hello, Mrs. Cleaver, you look positively stunning today. So he'd go in there, and then he would brown nose the parents.
Sweet talk.
Yeah, and then he would go over there and just constantly was like the worst human being. Okay. So anyway, that's who I think of Eddie Haskell.
He's like, that's who I thought I was back in the day. That's so when you look at somebody like Eddie Haskell, right? And you grew up obviously watching that show. Is there any other show that really stands out from back in the day that you're like, oh, this is another one that was?
I watched a lot of the Brady Bunch growing up.
Oh, Brady Bunch was hard.
Bunch, yeah. And then I watched, the shows I really liked was
Starsky and Hutch or
Starsky. No, I watched I Love Lucy a lot.
Oh, true.
And and I watched
Three Stooges.
Three Stooges, yeah. And I watched Three's Company.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So
Classics.
I'm getting old, man.
Classic TV
Now hold on,
shows,
I want to establish something though. I am old. I'm not denying that, but I had older siblings, so you get pulled up, right?
Yeah.
So
they
again,
introduce you to shit.
A lot quicker than you would find it on your own, right?
That is good.
You're still old, dude. You're still
trying to play it on your brother.
My brother was 40 years older than me.
All right. Question number 5, last one here, Misa. Let's get a little bit more music. So last one, Mr. Rick. It's a little political, I guess, if you will. Oh, but since you're into politics, so should the people who run Chick-fil-A's drive-thru run the country?
I gotta tell you, the Sunday not being open is annoying. I'll be out very clear about that.
Right. We all love Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
They got their shit together,
dude. They do, bro.
Nah, dude, because then they'll raise your prices and they'll be like, my pleasure.
Yeah, but no, that's fine. Dude, the
it's
way
legit.
The way they operate, it deserves okay, I'll pay a little bit more because, dude, out of all these fucking fast food places everywhere, nobody can get down like they can, and they'll have the most people in line, and they're still fucking doing.
Look at how passionate Chris just gets.
The one at Airway, oh my gosh, that thing gets packed,
right?
And they get you out of there. They move it. They move it. I will tell you what I find thoroughly annoying is remember when it was all about the 2 windows, right? Everyone's getting their second window or whatever.
Right.
And half the place you go, they don't even open that window anymore. Dude, drive right by. It's got some boxes in it.
Now it's that window is there for just advertising purposes, and they might have we're hiring up. Right? Yeah. But
I mean,
it's true.
All of a sudden they all popped up with the second window, and I was like, oh, you pay here, then you. And some of them still do it, but there's a bunch of fast food places.
I know Taco Bell don't do that shit no more. Yeah, that's for sure.
But the window's there.
Yeah, the window's
there. The window will always be there. There's just no one ever there.
You see somebody having their lunch,
yeah, dude, that's
keep
crazy.
Going.
That's a good observation, though.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A's legit, though. I mean, it's good stuff.
So should they run the country?
They should.
There you go. There you go. Round of applause.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And they had all that dialed in pre-COVID.
Right. Right, they were ahead of the game, for sure. Shout out Chick-fil-A,
dude. Damn,
they planned COVID. What's your go-to Chick-fil-A order here?
I do the spicy chicken sandwich, and I've always done the waffle fries, but that mac and cheese.
That mac and cheese is something
good.
fierce, man. Yeah, it really is.
I just basically tell my daughter she has to get the mac and cheese.
So I can vouch for you.
No. Daddy's getting the fries. You're getting the mac and cheese.
Okay.
And I'm eating both of them.
Yes, sir. There you go.
Yeah.
That's called, parenting right there.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. The daddy gets the biggest
It's called
piece of
dad
chicken.
tax. It's called a
Dad
dad
tax,
tax.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, Misa knows all about that, actually. All right, guys. So let's start to wrap up this podcast here, episode 134 with Mr. Rick Cabrera. Let's go ahead and give our final thoughts on today's episode. Let's start with you, Amanda.
No, thanks for inviting me to fill in as a producer today in Joe's absence. So
Gracias.
great, with a pretty great guest, one that is notable in El Paso. So kind of a little nervous stepping into it, and you couldn't give me
did
like
great.
a friend. So
It's okay.
But glad to be back in the studio
Remember,
with you guys.
we talked about with Rick about being put in uncomfortable situations,
so I'm
right?
growing.
Embrace
So,
it.
Yes.
We're practicing that as we preach.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yep.
good. All right, there you go.
So, but yeah, glad to be back with you guys. And
Shout
it's been
out.
a lot of fun.
Nice.
Love you,
nice.
Darda. Thank you, Miss
Amanda. Thank
Misa. What
you.
we got?
Yeah, Rick, thank you so much for giving your time here. It's so cool to meet you. Seeing you on TV and then now having you here, it's awesome. I still want to visit you at your job. Hopefully they let me through. Amanda, thank you so much for stepping in. Chris, Blue, Chewy, everybody watching, guys. You guys make sure to stay safe and stay fresh.
Mr. Rick, final thoughts today.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. I love talking about El Paso and some of the passion I have for the things I do and what I've done. And I honestly, I'm just happy to be in El Paso still. It's been great to me. It's been home, and this is not the path I expected for myself. And to be here today is just a blessing, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. I
Yes,
so
yes,
appreciate
yes.
it.
Thank you. Yes, once again, Mr. Rick, thank you. Round of applause for you. We'll have an open door policy for you here at the podcast in case you ever want to come back and hang out with us. That door will always be open for you. Thank you for answering my DMs. I know it was kind of like real
Creeper.
random, but
You want to come over?
yeah, you want to come be on my podcast, bro? Like, you know what I mean?
I was like, is that a euphemism?
Yeah. What does he mean by podcast? But no, thank you for replying and actually being here today. We worked this out. We planned it out. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me, everybody here, to have you here and have you be part of the podcast family that we're building. So thank you for that, guys. For everybody supporting us, thank you all for that. For all our sponsors, Next Gen Sports, Sun City Vibes, Iron Eyeglass, thank you all for supporting us. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. And with all that being said, guys, we are...
Wawa. I get you tapered like a new fresh haircut. Put it in ignition, now a nigga got his keys stuck. Zanny got amnesia. Hoes down, G's up, bitch. Ooh, hit me back with